Join us now for the City of Dillon Council meeting, brought to you by Hometown TV, serving Dillon and Marion counties.
All right, can I get an approval of the agenda to include an executive session to discuss First Bank lease agreement and land purchase? Can I get a motion?
I make a motion.
Second?
A second.
All those in favor? Aye. You got that? You want? Everybody raised? All right. Okay, approval of the minutes of regular meeting of January 13th.
I'll make a motion.
Second? All those in favor? Aye. All right, I've got a few things. Been kind of busy the last few weeks. Attended the Chamber of Commerce banquet the other night. Very nice. Surprising crowd for the weather that we had, but it was very nice. And of course, the Dillon County Economic Summit. A lot of things going on in Dillon County. A lot of excitement with the inland port and the energy around that. I mentioned some things. I got asked to say a few things, and I felt like it was kind of, you need to get up there and talk about the state of Dillon. And I got there and it said welcome. I was to welcome everybody. I said, well, I hadn't prepared that, and James Lockamy had already done it. Anyway, I kind of listed a few things, challenges that we're going to have in Dillon that the way I see it, we've mentioned them here before, that we can have tremendous economic development in Dillon, but if we don't have any place for people to live and move here, then what have we really accomplished? If we don't improve our quality of life or increase our population, then what do we get out of industrial development? Very little. So I look at it as part of our job as a city and as leaders that we need to promote that development, and I think we do a good job with the resources that we have, given a good quality of life. I did not, because of that Friday night, I wasn't able to get to the father-daughter banquet, but I heard it was a tremendous success. I know that my grandchildren had a huge time. If you want to see energy in a small town, you ride by that little wellness center on any given weeknight and see all the cars out there watching Little League basketball, and it's a lot of fun. Also had an opportunity to speak with the downtown development since that was a week or so ago, and I know many of y'all did, and I hope where's Bridget? That
She's out. She's still up. She's out there.
I saw her come in. I saw her walk this way. But I'm really anxious to see what they have to show us. Long term, though, as I see regulations and demands on what we need to do with our water and sewage, I think that it's going to be difficult for a population of 8,500 to maintain a sewage treatment plant facility. I think we need to grow that, and the way we grow it, we've got tremendous opportunity with the inland port and these opportunity zones, which is right out that sector, to put another sewage treatment plant out west side of I-95 and hopefully do some residential development as well as industrial development. So I look forward to their planning, and I'm not sure that they'll have that, but we as a group need to look into that. Also, I think there's some excitement with the coming out of your comment about how we need to do more to try to improve the wellness center. I've talked with Jess and a few of the people that have been involved with that committee, and they're pretty excited. Did we find out anything on the silver sneaker?
Still waiting to hear back. I reached out to Congressman Rice's office, and they're gonna see what they can
Yeah.
find out for us.
Yeah.
We've applied, just haven't gotten a response.
I mean, I don't see any reason why, if anybody gets it, why we wouldn't get it. Also the storm drains, we had 4 inches of water Thursday night, pretty quick. And I understand that a lot of places that we've identified and focused on we had no problem with standing water. And I understand we did have East Main Street had water, and Hampton Street. And I talked with Bert earlier today, and there's a pipe there that about 40 foot of pipe that we're going to replace that may do a lot in correcting that. When we did that study about 20 years ago, they said it was they said at that time it was about a $20 million fix. I'm not sure that they went underground and cameraed our stuff. And I think that what we're doing with the cameras and the clean outs, and if they're just so eaten up with roots and things, that if we fix those, I think we can get this drainage thing straightened out. And Bert's teams worked so hard on it, and identifying that those beaver dams, I think that was huge. So I'm pretty excited that we won't have major stuff in order to fix our flooding issues. But that's about me. Glenn?
I'm going to follow up back to Wellness Center, which that was a discussion last month and the previous month on revenue, generating revenue, and losing revenue over the past year and a half, 2 years compared to where we are now. I went back and looked. January of 2018, we had 515 members that paid during that time. January of this year, well, actually, let me correct that. From January 2nd to yesterday, we had 446 members who have checked in during that time frame. I went and met with different people on different occasions at the Wellness Center to ask them some things as I would see them. One of the things that was brought up last month, I believe it was about automatic drafts. Most of the folks I talked to are not interested in automatic drafts. That's one of the reasons they didn't go to the new facility, or that's one of the reasons they have left the new facility, is due to the automatic draft. We put in place, as I mentioned last month, from the 1st of January, the extended hours. After 5 weeks, just looking at the extended hours, really hasn't been a benefit as far as people utilizing it. Actually, less than 1% of the folks coming in after the times that we had established over the past 12 years, only 1% are utilizing that extra.
Most of that is night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went from 8:30 to 10 o'clock on the weeknight, and 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock.
We've done it for about 6 weeks.
We've done it 5 weeks, and we're gonna, I feel like we'll do it for the rest of the month.
Yeah.
Just to see now. That same time last week, we generated 15 million. So that was a good thing to see.
Yeah.
But we're gonna continue with the extended hours through February. And then there was a discussion about maybe getting a little committee together, some members out there to get some feedback, which I got a hold of about 6 or 7 people that I know that work out a good bit and utilize the facility. I've met with them twice since mid-January. And the comments that they've given me so far are that our rates are good, because we talked about rates. We need to look at our rates. They all felt like the rates were good. They feel like our amenities are good. The only negative they had was the weighing machines, pretty much what we got from the hospital.
Need to be replaced.
13, 14 years ago. They think some of those things need to be replaced. So we're looking at some of those projects and see what those costs are. We'll bring those back here at our next council meeting. Hopefully we'll have that done. We'll meet with a rep at the end of this month to give us some ideas on some of those things. And some of these same folks that I've talked with gave me some information freely from when they went to the other facility, and some of them doing both, as a matter of fact. But most that I've met with used that the new facility was something new. That was the reason they went. One of the reasons they left was the automatic drafting system, lack of space, has no showers, cleanliness, it wasn't very clean. They had no towels, and probably the biggest argument or the biggest complaint they had no water fountain. So if you want a
You gotta go
beverage
work,
or
you gotta
drink
bring it.
water, you either bring your own water and or buy theirs that they have, but no water fountain per
Yeah.
se. As I mentioned, we gained 15 new members last week. And then getting feedback as I mentioned there. So we're going forward on trying to see what we can do to grab some more members. Again, January 2018, we had 515 members. As of January, or as of February 9th, we had 446. So we're not much off. Now, January of last year, we were in the 300 mark. So, you know, there's a big
Pick back up.
big difference there, but we're gonna move forward with that. Second thing I have on my item that I mentioned in your 11th, Sunday alcohol sales. As I sit back and I look and read and talk to different people and see what's happening around us, we're the only county, and I'm doing it county because that's what I'm comparing it to. We're the only county in the PD that does not have Sunday alcohol sales. Now, I'm gonna be the first to say, as my daddy used to say, just because somebody else does it doesn't mean you have to do it. However, I also believe that without Sunday alcohol sales, we're not going to recruit restaurants or hotels, and maybe some retail. You know, we've got no restaurant per se downtown other than King's, which they sell alcohol Monday through Saturday. Don't know that he would be interested in selling alcohol on Sunday. But we've got a restaurant that's opening hopefully here in the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks, that plans to sell alcohol. I imagine they would probably like to do it on Sunday as well. We've got another one that's possibly going to be starting construction hopefully in the next 6 months that would like to sell alcohol. You know, the Kintyre House may come back with those opportunities. But at the same time, not just downtown,
Yeah.
you know, we have other areas in town that attract restaurants, whether it's Highway 34 or Radford Boulevard or 301. You know, one I forget about, and I think this is what I was told, Del Sol. They lose a lot of business
So
on
we-
Sunday, as I was told, because of alcohol sales. So,
Your margin on food is about 12–15% in a great situation, and that goes to about 25–30% if you can add alcohol.
but I think we're missing the boat by not doing something or trying to do something to make that happen. Again, Marion and Marlboro County just passed it here in the last year, 2 years. Florence County has it, Lumberton has it, Darlington County has it. I just think it's something that we may be missing the boat. And that's okay if we don't want to do it. But we don't need to sit here and say, why can't we get something? And because that may be a reason. There may be others, but that may be a reason as well. So if you'd like, I'd like to come back next month with an ordinance to present it. And it's an ordinance not allowing Sunday alcohol sales. It's an ordinance that's requesting it to be put on the referendum in November at the general election.
Yeah.
Because the public has to vote on
Yep.
this.
Okay.
And in this case, it would only be those registered voters in the city that vote during November during the general election. But it has to pass 2 readings of ordinances. I believe it has to go before the Justice Department before it can get on the referendum. And then if that's approved there, we turn it over to the County Election Commission. They then get it placed on the referendum, and whatever that costs to place it on the referendum, and I don't know what that cost would be, I guess printing costs, things of that nature, we have to pay for that, which I don't think is a lot of money. And we need to do that sometime by the summer. So it'll be in time enough to get on the ballot in November for the public to vote it up or down. If they vote yes, we then contact the Department of Revenue and say, this is passed. And then they start working on getting the permits to allow these folks to do it. So if you're interested, I will bring something back. And if I don't hear any response back, I'm assuming you're interested.
And you reached out to the county, and the county said they didn't want to do it.
I spoke to a little bit, they right now don't want, they want to see what happens, I guess. I won't put them on the spot, but, you know.
All right, so can we do it and they not
Yes,
do it?
yes,
Okay,
yes,
all right.
yes. We can do it within the city, however, it has to be done during a general election.
Okay.
And that-
But if I heard you clearly say, you said Marion County and Marlboro County have passed it.
Yep, yep,
Okay.
yep, absolutely.
But
Now,
do-
this would be what is known as on-site premise consumption, which would be restaurants, and off-site premise, which would mean you could buy at a grocery store, convenience store, whatever. And we all know that's happening today anyway. You know, just, but, you know, I think that it will provide us an avenue of possibly attracting a hotel. Again, you know,
Fair.
people want that, and whether you drink the spirits or not, that is, you know, everyone's individual choice. But I believe this is something we need to move forward with. And then let the public decide in November.
Yep.
That's all, excuse me. That's all I have at this point.
They're good. Janet,
Okay.
finance?
In general fund, our total cash accounts, $1,202,268. Our revenues for, 20 versus 2019, we are $105,827 more in revenues in 20 than we were in 19 this year. Our expenses, we are $96,268,000 more in expenses in 2019 than we were in 20.
But those were budgeted expenses, is that correct? I mean, what I'm saying is that we, you know, obviously we've had this, we're over in our expenses, but those were budgeted expenses. Are they over budget?
No, that's out of
We're not
that.
$96,000 over budget. We
No,
just
no,
had
no.
96,000 increase in our expenses, but those were all
Compare,
budgeted.
I'm only comparing.
Comparing year to
Year
year.
to year, I'm not
Yeah.
doing, yeah, that's
Well,
correct.
In this case, month to month.
Yeah,
One year to
but I
month.
did year to year on
You
there.
know, that, and I hate to add another layer to this, but it may be, and you can go through and generate that information, but for me, you know, and I'm glad I've got 106,000 more in revenues, but did I budget for 250,000 at this point in the, do you understand what I'm saying?
Well, see, that could be the timing of the local option money coming
Yeah,
in, your
you're
taxes
right.
coming
Yeah.
in both physical years,
It's hard to-
as when they hit. So that has a lot to play into that.
Now, on the property tax issue there, understand what Dr. Wallace is saying. At what point, since we're at January 31st and the 15th's already passed, when do we get a bigger block of money? When does it come in?
What is basically left is our rollback, I call it our rollback money, the state
When do we
money.
actually get our rollback?
We get that on monthly, that comes in monthly.
Every month, okay.
And see, what you do is when you
So for
order.
property tax, we've already got it, that
Right,
chunk.
right, basically, we've got,
And
Well,
then
we may get another-
delinquent tax from that point on, we get its trickle
right,
as every month.
that's correct, you're right.
Is
we
that
may
pretty
get a-
normal at 57.72?
Yes, yes.
So we're a little bit ahead of the game of where we have been in other years?
I'd have to go back and just look and see on that, but I think, you know,
About
what
the
money
same.
we're gonna get basically now is our before we roll back our local option money, is what's left on there.
On general fund, any other comments?
Probably the
Yeah.
revenues, I got one more on court fines. Explain to me on court fines, if we budget 150 and we're not at we got 65% remaining in 4 months.
That number is not right.
That's kind of skewed, I mean,
Well, you've collected so far almost 53,000.
right.
So what's 53,000, 150,000, is that
Third.
35? Yeah, that would be right now. We've only collected 35%.
See,
Well, what's the problem with that? Is it's just a backlog in our
Well,
court?
court fines would be basically traffic violations. And it varies. I mean, we've had years where we've only collected $70,000 in court fines. The last 2 or 3 years, we have increased. So, you know, doesn't mean that we'll collect the 150,000, but that was the norm for 3 or 4 years.
I got a question while we're still in general fund. It's the police department, the holiday pay,
Yes.
is that a misprint?
Yeah, I saw that. And overtime, it's been,
Let's see.
It's the reverse opposite.
done about 100.
Holiday pay?
Yeah.
All right, we've spent 42,000, that's probably about right.
I'm talking about this month here alone.
17,000 in January?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't see why that's got to be wrong.
Is that
If the only
reflect?
holiday you had would have been 2 holidays in January.
I would
New Year's
see.
Day and Martin Luther
Yeah,
King.
but that, you may be paying them.
Yeah, that'd be a lot.
Yeah, that may
So we
be-
have to check on that.
And now on miscellaneous revenue on that 35,900, what's going on with that?
I'll go ahead and
Well,
leave.
We're at 252% on
Okay.
35,900, third page.
Okay, well, we got 30,000 from the C funds that goes there. We got 10,000 from, retirement. That is booked there that we always say, go towards the retirement. We got vehicles, that were damaged that we get reimbursed for. Like police department or the fire department, anything like that, the insurance reimburses us for that. We got a core for like $3,400 reimbursement on that. So different little things out of that.
The 30,000 was for the item.
That's right.
And we still got,
So you're saying there's money left to come in, we just haven't gotten it?
No, well, we're gonna still get some, but you're asking me why we've got such, in the revenue side, is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, on the revenue side.
Right,
we only
Budgeted
budgeted 25,000.
yeah.
And we've collected so far 63,000.
Right. So that's where that money's coming from.
Mhm. That's
And then
right.
All right.
30-some odd thousand we got back from the C funds. That was the resurfacing of East Main Street when we took that alley out.
All right.
And I think there's probably 6 or 7 more thousand that will be reimbursed for that project that will go there.
Just the C funds, retirement, vehicle, reimbursements, and that core, all that comes to $61,991.
What is core?
What we bought a part.
A motor.
And took the part back.
Okay, got it.
Any other questions?
I've got a couple of questions.
Now, that's on general fund. Have you got, is it other? or is it
Well,
just-
it's going deeper into it on city council, but not on revenue.
Expense side?
On the, on your general tort liability, I know we've talked about this before. We're budgeted at 200,917, and we've already almost used it all.
That is
That's
6
paid.
months.
Yeah.
We pay every 6 months.
I got you.
So that's paid for this
Yeah.
fiscal year.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just looking through it, and I was just looking at items that were way out of whack, and like printing on the next page in finance. Why would printing?
Because what we did is we put our lot mowing on the taxes this year. So demolition and lot mowing that is owed to the city of Dillon that people had not paid, so we went and put it on their tax records, which that was over $4,000 just to do that. They're having printed.
How much delinquent we got on that?
Right now, we had 92,000.
$92,000.
Mind you now, that 92, 30,000 is from the
39.
39, 40,000 was for that building on Hampton Street. This is where we turn around and actually put liens on the property tax.
I guess the pulling of downtown coordinator, that's special events downtown, we were at 465% over budget. That's that, Department 14 downtown coordinator.
Where they having events down there, bands and stuff like that.
Put line items on.
That's in the middle, that's
Yeah.
14,030.50
30/50.
in the middle. Special events downtown, we're at 465%.
Budget 500, we've spent 2,300 so far for the year.
I guess when we did the budget, we didn't have any idea what would be going on, and that was correct.
Pretty much.
Now, other things I've noticed, even looking down at each department, it looks like nuts, bolts, hand tools, and so on. Why we have such an issue on that particular item? Way over budget.
That
I
is
mean,
where-
300%, 400%.
That is where if you have some expenses that does not fit in your other line items,
You're
that would
driving
go
it in
there,
it.
it goes
Okay.
there.
That's what I wanted to know.
Mhm.
That's fair. That's all I got.
Okay, anyone else? All right, Dan, go to
Okay. Water and
water and
sewer,
sewage.
our total non-restricted accounts is $1,595,967. Our restricted account is $1,872,237, bringing a total of all accounts $3,468,204. We are $95,042 more in revenues in 2020 than 2019. Our expenses was $257,443 more in 2020 than in 2019.
Year to date.
Year to date,
Yeah.
and what that is that's where we have pumps and motors repaired, aerators and stuff like that, is we get a depreciation for it. It's going to depreciation over a time. We put it in capital purchase, which is 6,100 and 4,300 and 4,400, 6,100. Those come up to that. That's what that is. $50 vehicle out of there as well. So that's why you got more expenses there than you did in.
Are we doing a water sewage study?
Yes.
Okay. Any idea when they'll have that?
Well, we'll wait, and I meant to bring that up in our report. The audit will be presented next month,
Okay.
and once we have the audit presented, we'll then give them that information.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question. The Wellness Center, I know people have mentioned to me that I'll smell it sometime.
It's not as bad as it was,
Yes.
not that we've.
Pick a day
eliminated
to-
it,
But is there any way we could possibly solve that in the future?
We're working on it as hard as we can for every chemical that we can find to.
I had an investor to call me. He mentioned they would be interested in building upper scale condos out there. And I think that would really help the Wellness Center.
Yeah, it's a great place.
And if we could solve that, that's the only thing that's kind of stopping them.
Well, as of right now, since mid-November, Hardy, we have captured the problem and haven't totally eliminated it. But I've had no complaints from the Christian school because they could get in there or the Wellness Center. Now, outside in certain areas at the railroad track on Commerce, certain times of the day or night, as you cross the railroad track, you will smell it. And once you get out of that hole, back up. Right now, we seem to have it under control.
It was horrific tonight.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay, had been inside.
After you leave the railroad
Okay.
tracks coming up.
The
Commerce.
problem is the time it takes for it to leave the plant at Purdue to get to that lift station is enough time for the bacteria to break down and release, I think it's ammonia gas that it actually.
Hydrogen sulfide, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's running uphill to there, and then
Well, it's
all of a
running
sudden
downhill
it's
to there, but
released.
then there's a pump station there.
It's lifted up.
Yeah.
But over the years, we've been trying to figure out this problem. I'm just curious, how much money have we dedicated to this problem? And we still got this problem, you understand?
I don't know how much, you know.
The chemicals cost us about $100 and.
Well, not quite that much, I don't think.
Not us, cost them.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 120.
I mean, Purdue's putting in some, Tammy, you here, aren't
Yeah.
you? What's Purdue putting in, chemical wise?
Well, really nothing. I mean, they just pre-treat and discharge.
Yeah.
They had the lime, we increased their pH to 7.0, and that was, I think it's kind of helped a little bit. Their limit was 6, or minimum pH, so they had to increase their lime fee, and their pH now, starting December the 1st, was 7.0. They have to report that.
Well, we got somebody looking to build some living space out there. I mean, I wish we would really
Yeah.
focus on it, because
Oh, well, we're focused.
I got
with
somebody
that.
really-
That's something
really
we deal
serious.
with- We deal with on a daily basis.
We're
But
fixing
not
to
for
try
living
another round
space,
of
though.
chemicals.
Well, we're gonna try harder.
We're gonna try another chemical and see if it'll do any better than what we had. What we just
We
got
could
through running,
get back with us and just.
fixing to try another.
I mean, we're working
We can
and trying
solve that.
everything possible to find out. And, you know, when we've got Purdue online, letting them to understand as well that they may not smell it at their location.
Are they sharing the cost with us on this?
Not on what we're doing, but then again, I guess they are sharing the cost because
They have to
it goes
pre-treat
towards
it
their
to get that
rate as
pH
well.
up. Yeah.
You think we could get some help from them on that?
Well, they're helping us from what we're requiring them to do before it leaves them.
Okay.
Which Tammy was talking about, the pre-treatment, where they had to bring their pH up to a different level. So they're having to do some things on their end as well.
Changing back, that Department 43 wastewater treatment, those capital purchases there that were 260,000 out, I guess it's a large purchase that we've made that we hadn't covered in that yet.
And 43?
Yeah, in 43, Department 43. Capital purchases, you had budgeted 35 and we're 262,000 over.
Right.
This is a huge purchase. We're waiting on some extra money to,
No.
what's going on?
What is that? That could be some outstanding POs that's sitting out there that hadn't been liquidated yet, on the expense side, and that's where we've had aerator motors and stuff like that repaired.
So you're sitting it there until,
Right, right. I don't want it to hit until we actually spend those funds,
I got you.
because it'll be misleading to you. Golf course, the cash account, at 31st of January, we had $873 in there. We brought in $3,303 more in 20 than we did in 19. We spent out $2,014 more in 20 than we did in 19. We're supposed to get our money by the 15th of this month.
Okay.
That goes there. Our 2% funds, we brought in, there was $437 more in revenues in 19 than in 20. We had a couple that was late coming in, but they have since paid, so that'll make a difference. To date, we have transferred $105,000 to the golf course from the 2%. We have made a payment in January, so now we have 5 annual payments left. We'll finish it up in 2025.
All right, I'd like to go back to the wellness center before we leave this budget. And I want you to explain this to me. I want you to explain me the revenues current year to date and see if I'm looking at this right.
In the wellness center revenues,
We in the revenues right now.
okay?
It says $86,558 is the revenues, correct? That we've taken in this year,
Year to
Yes.
date.
year to date. All right, you go to the expenses. And what does the expenses say?
265, 264.
All right, so I subtract that from my revenues, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's $178,000 we got a deficit so far this year. Am I right in saying that?
Yep.
Okay.
As far as
As far as what I see right
you
here.
got as of right now, we have spent $170-some-odd-thousand more than what we.
So what I'm trying to get to is, I understand we're getting things put in place. We've lost more money this year in just 5 to 6 months in our budget than we did all last year. Okay? I understand we're doing things, but this is my thing. Curtis Boyd is making a profit, okay, at this new gym. He's got 225 members, okay? I want to find a way, a plan that we can make a profit. We're losing $15,000 to $18,000 a month. We've got to put a plan in place
Well,
because you're going to 2 times your deficit this year versus your last year's.
understand. Now, you can't compare apples to apples, what he has and what we have. He has more than one facility. They all in one umbrella. if
But
you will.
I'm talking about this facility he's got right here. He's making a profit.
Well, I don't know that.
He's
How do
making
you
a
know
profit.
that?
I know he's making a profit.
How do you
I don't
know?
need to disclose all that.
well, I
I'm
mean,
just telling you, he's
it-
not losing $15,000 to
Well,
$18,000 a
I'm
month.
not saying he's losing that either.
Right.
But I mean, at the same time, you know, he's got his 8, 9, 10 different locations all in one bank account.
But I mean, that's
I mean,
fine. But I'm talking. I mean, I can't
I understand.
argue back and forth with you on this one facility. I'm trying to concentrate on this wellness center that we've lost more money in 6 months than we have all last year. I understand you got a committee, you're putting things in place, but how are we gonna get to the point we show a profit?
I don't know we'll ever get.
Oh, you won't.
We never have. never
All
can
right, so
we?
how do you get it to where you only lose $50,000 a year? You gotta find a goal.
Well,
We just gotta
that
bring
would
the
be
membership back
that
up.
membership, people to.
You're
get
down,
back.
what, 60 members?
You gotta
Yeah, you're still down 60, you
Down
gained
60
15, you're
members.
down 75.
But I went back and looked, oh gracious, 2000, we opened what, 2007 up to about 2010, yeah, we had 800 members. We haven't been that high since 2010. And not saying we'll ever get further than where we are today. You know, all we can do is offer it to get people to come. But still, it is,
I think with extended hours in a few months, I think we will be back up.
I don't know that extended hours are gonna help that.
It could.
But we also get
Especially
into,
summer coming up.
yeah, we also get into a spot though, the busiest times are December to March. Once the weather heats up, you know, they don't
Go
like,
outside.
yeah, these things outside not come in, but, you know, that's our goal is to break even.
Mhm.
But I don't know that we'll ever break even. I mean, just no different than any other quality of life
Yeah.
issues, recreation, for example. We
Well,
lose
I
money
mean,
there if you look at it that way.
we want to try to do additional things to the wellness center. And the problem I have is when you show more deficit now than you did the whole year of last year. But not only that, I mean, you hadn't even taken the $173,000 we lost last year out of the hospitality balance we got now, correct, Janet?
We've taken the one prior, but the one that we're working on now, no. We'll take that when we finish our audit.
Okay. So, I mean, really and truly, we don't have like $600,000 in our hospitality fund.
Give or
You know,
take.
give or take. So, yeah.
All right, I
And I'd like to
understand.
see us to do additional things. I mean, Dr. Wallace has mentioned things that we'd like to see us do in the near future, pay off another mortgage payment. I mean, but I just wish we could get a better handle on, you know, what's going on.
Well, I mean, the issue is membership driven. I mean,
Well, understand that.
That's the issue.
Is the wellness center independent of the gym
No.
and independent of all that?
No,
It's
all that's
collectively,
The only,
that's
the
something
only,
that,
the only thing that,
you've got an expense there that is not
Revenue
supported by,
producing.
yeah, it's not gonna produce revenue, and it's, and, you know, we kind of debate on this about how we look at that. I look at the budget of the 2% money in quality of life. And we want to make as much money as we can out there, but at the same time, it is one of those quality of life issues. And if we want people to live in Dillon, got to have things for them to do. And we got a $5.1 million investment out there, and it is a beautiful place. I agree we need to tune it up, get more involvement.
Yeah, that's my thing. I mean, I
Yeah.
agree with you totally what you're saying. Wellness center's a great thing for us.
Yeah.
I just
We
don't
want to
understand
make
us
it
losing so
as
much money.
business, you
well,
know,
I mean, again,
balances.
And I understand member driven and all
yeah, I mean,
that.
it's strictly.
You know,
But it
and I just-
supports, I mean, you got a gym out there
Right.
that
The
they
gym-
rent.
The gym itself probably uses 2/3 of the overhead,
Yeah.
just
Well,
to heat and cool the
Well, I mean,
gym
it
part.
costs us roughly $80,000 a year to
Heat and cool that place.
cool that facility.
Right.
Um,
But I would say if it's 80,000, it's probably only 15 or 20 to heat and cool the wellness part itself. When you
well,
look
it's
at
40, it's
30 foot-
40,000 square feet. The fitness side is roughly 15,000 square feet,
So
so.
you're looking
Good
at
math.
less than a third of the, 2/3 of the overhead goes into the
Heat and
gym
cooling,
part
yeah.
that is not revenue producing. Unless we want to start charging.
We do,
And,
do, but it's not enough.
No, I'm talking about like when we used it for basketball.
Well, let's just think for
We
this,
don't
for
want to do
instance.
that, that's what people do.
If you look at the beach facilities are, I go to Charlotte, well, this from Sherall, or Sherall. Outside services, like for instance, 2 tennis courts and some half-court basketball outside, fenced in now, private to the wellness center. To me, I don't know the value of it to build it, but I think it would bring a different, a better formatted membership for just that product.
We looked at racquetball.
Because it's outdoor.
Yeah,
Now, racquetball is a good thing.
yeah,
That's really a good thing in Florence.
yeah.
And I like it. I
And
like
that-
indoor golf,
Yeah.
golfing ranges. But I'm just saying from a cost perspective, for
Yeah.
something outdoors that kids need to go out and do,
Yeah.
like a tennis court or half-court basketball, not full court, unless you go to short courts, but just half courts, but outdoor facilities so kids can play outdoors. I think would be a good thing for our membership to broaden it. But it's just a thought.
And, you know, there's,
Yeah.
we're looking now, and I think it could be a double-edged sword, but I'm not sure about, and we've talked about this in the past, we're looking at possibly putting some outdoor fitness equipment up around the track. But that's free for use. And that's a
Yeah.
good thing. We have a lot of people that utilize that walking
Yeah,
track.
anything outside.
But I'm afraid also, if there's some things out there that may drive people away from actually coming inside and paying a membership.
Yeah.
So it's,
Tennis courts are a different thing.
well, no, tennis courts, I
And
agree.
half-court
100%.
basketball, and I think it's pretty cheap to lay them down. I mean, nothing's cheap, but it is cheaper.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I think
tennis
we would
courts about
gain that
$100
group that wants to be
That's
outdoors.
about what the racquetball was. I think.
Yeah, we got
$110.
proposed-
Yeah, that racquetball outside is great.
Yeah.
You know, I played that
Well,
and
and,
it's awesome.
and again, going back to
You got
population.
Handball's good too.
Yeah, population, you know, will 8,500 people be able to support that? But maybe not, but if
We
we
got
grow.
growth potential.
Huh?
There is
Oh,
growth
there is.
potential here.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying, is as we see that growth, then that might be something that's more feasible down the road. But, well, good discussion, but, you know, we could do this all night.
Again, yeah, our goal
Yeah.
is to make as much money and not lose.
Right.
But, you know, I think we all knew going in that this was not gonna be a moneymaker now. I think when we started this 13, 14 years ago, that we had in mind somewhere between $75,000 and $100,000. But you're correct, we've lost more
Yeah.
this year than where we are right now, based on revenue.
But your membership is up about 60, 70 people.
We'll have a big membership drive, if you wanna call it, in April. That is our anniversary day. And that's usually when we get a lot of those, so we'll kind of play that by ear as well and see what that does for us.
All right.
I'm free.
Thank you. You glad to be through? All right. Bridget, I know you out there and appreciate you not coffee. Or maybe she left. There she is.
Well, Glenn asked me to give y'all an update on the benchmark planning. And on January the 28th, benchmark planning came in for a 2-day business session. The dates on the calendar was the 28th and the 30th. On the 28th, that was reserved for the city staff, city council members, city committee members, the bar, and planning committee was invited to participate, and also local and civic and social groups. On the evening of the 28th, we met with the Dillon Downtown Development Committee and also the Downtown Development Ambassadors. On the 30th, we toured downtown Dillon. I took them to all the new industries that's coming into town. They saw the spec buildings, they visited Harbor Freight, they visited with Mike at the inland port. Just went to all the industries so they could incorporate that into the plan. We also rode around the parameter of the active corridors plan. So as you know, that the Martin Luther King project that we're in process of is the phase 1 for the active corridors plan. So I also want them to incorporate that in our downtown master plan. And I rode them around that entire corridor. After we toured all those areas, we went downtown. We were able to get to about half of our downtown businesses. We started right here with Attorney Tim Ammons, and we went down to McKellar check cashing on North MacArthur Avenue. So we would like to, on the next tour, we would like to start at 100 and go 100 East and go back down to the 300 East block. They were able to meet with Dr. Wallace. We met with them at his office. And then at 3:30, they were able to take a tour of the agriculture building. And that building, and they also talked with Steve Jackson, who owns that property. And they're very interested in that property because we want to use that as an anchor for downtown. So we're trying to come up, they're working with him now to see what they can come together with to try to make that property something for downtown. Our next meeting will be on Thursday, February the 27th. We are going to host this meeting at the Wellness Center starting at 6 p.m. This next workshop is a public forum. So we have put an ad in the paper so that the public will feel like they are participating. If they want to come and participate, they're welcome. It'll start at 6 o'clock. And what they said they'll be doing at this one is they're going to give a brief presentation based on the discussions we had at these last 2 listening sessions. And then they're going to open it up for group participation from the public as to what they would like to see downtown.
Now, I missed, and I would really like to meet with them. Is that a possibility that I could meet?
They'll be here on the 27th.
Is there any way a councilman could meet them earlier, or do we have to meet them with the public
You
forum?
can call if you want to call and talk with them one-on-one.
Okay,
You can call.
I need to get that number from them.
Okay.
Did you mention on 27th Wellness Center? I thought that was supposed to get that.
The multipurpose room is booked,
Okay.
but we're going to be in a small room.
Okay.
Do you have a question?
Yes, I do. We did a, so far, I've listened to all y'all talk about everything outside of the city. The biggest problem that I had is 1 block away is the flooding. You take anyone 1 block south over here, and it's flooded. Every time it rains, it's flooded. The whole area down here, south of 3rd, floods. 1 block away from the courthouse. It's something that's been going on for years. This more, I asked the gentleman there, he said, well, how many years?
Bunch of,
How many?
at least 10, 12.
Bert? And we're getting to the citizens report. If we could bring that up during, let Bridget
Yes, sir,
finish. Then we'll come right back to you, sir.
Well, he's exactly right. If you want me to answer the question, there is a problem there. We have identified the problem, and that's something that, you know, we're working with DOT on trying to get it fixed.
Okay.
There's some pipe that's gonna have to be dug up and replaced. We did half of that block about a year ago. We have the pipe to do the other half, and once we get that
You
portion
just got
done,
to clear it with DOT.
and yes, sir.
It's under the
and get it
road,
lined up and get it, you know,
paved after you get
be able to
finished.
do it. It's actually on the shoulder of the road, but it's something we're working to get fixed. I want it fixed just as much as he does, and he's got a legitimate complaint.
Okay.
Thank you, Bert.
All right. So we're gonna work. We
3 years and counting. 3 years. And not a thing has been done other than 1 scoop of sand that they put down there in 3 years.
Okay,
Okay,
I mean, more has been done than you realize because we know what the problem is and we've addressed it and we're gonna fix it, okay?
3 years.
Okay.
When I first addressed it.
Bridget, go ahead.
Okay, the last thing I had was the Dillon Downtown Development website. That site is for right now, it's completed and that should go live tomorrow. So if it's not, it may be live now. I hadn't checked it. But if you want to know about what's happening downtown, our directory is active, our calendar is active. So any of the businesses that would like to be a part of the directory, you can email me your information and we can plug you in there. I think we have unlimited space on that one. So anybody that wants to be a part of it, we can open it up. It doesn't have to be just downtown, but anybody doing business in the city, I think we can handle that. And that's all I have for right now. Any questions?
Thank you. Hope you get feeling better.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Citizens, Mr. Turner, you okay now? I mean, we're gonna get this fixed.
Okay, I know it takes time.
Yeah, and we're gonna probably not be as much the holdup right now because we got the pipe. We need DOT to give us the go
Well, the
ahead.
pipe is not gonna solve the main problem. This area of the county, the Dillon, floods every time. Right there on the corner where I live, we found, or Burton found, a sewer here. It was buried under mud. The reason why that happens is the trucks that go down there to the warehouse cut that corner, pushes all the mud over top of the sewer drain, clogs it up. It was buried under there until they broke the pipe and they discovered it. And I asked them about why didn't y'all know about it. No one knew about it.
Okay.
And these are things that have been going on, for my knowledge, 3 years. And I know Bert because I have complained unrelentingly every time it flooded. And the Scott can testify, and anybody that does.
I believe you. I believe you.
So.
What can we give you tonight that'll make you feel better? We've addressed
New
it.
drainage system right now, so it can go away.
New
I was
drainage
not saying
system.
where you did that for me.
Anybody want to put up $1 million for a new drain? You know,
But the thing
we're
is-
gonna try to fix it, sir. Okay?
All right.
Anyone else? Citizens report. You got something else?
Yes, about the trash truck, the new trash truck we had.
You don't like our new trash truck?
It works okay, but I don't think y'all doing an efficient job of doing it.
Okay.
I think, okay, the old trash truck went up and down the street twice. I'm mistaken, it went down the street once. The new trash truck go up and down the street twice. There's a lot of fuel, a lot of wear on the road. This is things that I don't think is very efficient for the trash truck.
It's actually about an hour and a half faster with the new truck than it is with the old truck.
Okay.
If I can just piggyback off of Mr. Turner, we said something about this a couple of months ago, and my question is, I've had a lot of people call me since the flooding, Dr. Wallace, and have y'all tried to turn the garbage can around to see if we got it going the wrong way?
Yeah, see, a lot of people are putting it the wrong way. We tried to put tags on them to get them
Well,
to
you
turn it
did,
the
but I
right way.
mean, all the way down my road, when it dumps it back, it leaves the lid open.
What
So
he was
can we
doing-
turn it to see if the other way mechanism can work? To see
No,
if
it's supposed to be turned with the wheels towards the house, and the reason that he was doing that was to let people know the can was empty, and also he would know it was empty. But last week we had a conversation with him, me and Glenn and I, and we asked him if he could, to put them back down with the lid closed, if he could. And that's what he's working on, trying to slow it down a little bit to get it to come down with the lid closed.
Especially on days it looks like it's gonna rain.
But if you turn it the wrong way, it'll mess the lid up, because when it dumps at the end, the lid will hit and it'll break the lid off. So that's the problem we're having with people turning them the wrong way.
One thing I was gonna suggest that y'all might look into is putting it all, the people put the trash all on one side. The truck can go down once. That would take away the wear and tear on the older streets where I live down here, wear and tear on it. If the truck go down there once on each street, don't you think that would save us fuel? Instead of twice? And all we take is moving all on one side. Instead of going down and coming down.
It's not a bad idea. In some streets, we might be able to do that.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
The only worry is you get the wrong trash can.
Yeah, across the street.
Go ask the boy across the street.
Well, that's a neighborly thing. You
His
know, that's
hands nasty,
a
mine won't, that's the problem.
Listen, I grew up.
Some places you could possibly do that.
Some people don't want the neighbor's trash
They came
can.
to your house. I know they came to the
They're
back.
raw chicken and the ones across my road.
If you make it mandatory, we will learn how to
That
do
smelly
it.
trash can.
Do it 1 week, 1 side, 1 week.
Yeah.
They're gonna be mixed up.
Bert, we'll leave that to you to decide. I don't know that we need a decision from council on that, but, you know, you,
Bert does it
it's
all.
it's a good idea if you
Good job,
want
Bert.
to try that, or
Let you know.
We're trying.
I know, you do a good job.
is there any other citizen that wants to talk?
Recycle.
Oh, my.
All right,
Yes,
go
I'll do
ahead.
I've
recycle.
already handled that problem with you.
Okay,
All right.
take the floor, young lady.
I'd just like to say a couple things. I know the new budget, is coming about, when y'all will be discussing all of that. Please, please, I cannot beg enough, try to squeeze some money out of there for matching funds for grants. Because the things that you're talking about, the sewer system, I know you want to do across I-95, with some more water expansion, there's grant money available, but you know you have to have anywhere from 10 up to 50% of the grant. Most of them
Right.
run about 25%, so y'all please do your best when you're scraping out the budget to try to scrape some funds together for the matching grants, because there's a lot of grant money out there. Then the other thing I wanted to say is, y'all know me, I'm totally in favor of anything to move this town forward. That is like my motto, move this town forward. If we do not get this new alcohol ordinance in place, we will be behind.
Yep.
And our town will suffer in many ways, just not just by not having the eateries and the alcohol. But as you know, when people go somewhere on a Sunday because they want to drink and they eat, they not only eat, they shop, they go to a movie, they do other things. That's a lot of money we're losing here. And what you'll see happen is, once we get that in place where we can serve alcohol, you'll see more of the stores staying open. So, you know, because I can tell you, I own 2 businesses, and I would be dumb to keep one open and not open the other one when my customers are not, they're gonna eat with me and walk right past the other one when it's closed. I'm not gonna do that. So you'll see a lot more commerce coming in from that. So really do what you can, and all of us here that are for it, yeah, Tammy back there, we're all for it. You know, you really need to get the word out to all the citizens that, like Glenn said, we don't all have to partake. We all probably eat in places where, you know, there's alcohol. Partake if you want to, and don't if you don't want to. Those of us that own the restaurants are not gonna overserve anybody, because we're not gonna tolerate that. So it's just gonna be good for the county all around.
Thank you. Anyone else? Citizens report. Okay, old business, we have any old business? Okay, new business, we've got a number of resolutions. Resolution number 01-20, PIBA Insurance.
This is state insurance program that I propose that the city council accept this resolution. So beginning in July of this year, our health insurance will be through the state insurance program instead of us being self-funded as we are today. Projections are that we could save $100,000 to $150,000 by doing this, based on the people that we have on our insurance policy today. If we have that same number of people or the same people, once we go to the state insurance program, we could easily save $150,000 in the new budget year.
Well, I think it's, you know, it makes more sense to distribute risk over a larger volume of people. I mean, and that's how they can keep the cost down.
Absolutely. And then
And we're
again,
just joining a pool, a larger pool.
and you know, our deductible right now is $4,000. With this, it's $492. The employees today pay $1,000 of that $4,000. The city actually pays the other $3,000. You know, that would save the city off of just the deductible alone. I have met with most of the employees in the last month. 2 weeks ago, give or take, had what I call a lunch and learn, where employees are invited to eat lunch at the Wellness Center. And we also talked about the PIBA insurance or the state insurance program. Gave them education on it, watched a 30-minute video about it. and let them know that, you know, as you are as aware, right now, city employees spend roughly $130 a year to have health insurance. Now, in this, they're gonna have to spend $1,200 a year, so there is a cost to them. And they understand that, you know, that this will be deducted out of their paycheck on a weekly basis. But also explain to them, depending on who signs up, what signs up, how many we have sign up, if there's a savings during the budget process, there may be a possibility that the city can help with some of their costs. There was no guarantees, but, you know, we've got to get to the point now, whether we go with people or stay how we are, employees are gonna have to pay a portion of their insurance. But I think this is better fit for the city and for the city employees. And then for those that, you know, we talk about keeping employees. Probably our biggest turnaround in employees is in the police department. You know, right now, as it sits, if anybody retires with the city, who, by the way, we are part of the state retirement plan, but if they retire from the city, they got to go out and get their own insurance. They can't take the insurance we have today. If we go to this, folks that meet certain qualifications as far as retirement and working for a city for a period of time, they get to take this insurance. However, it is at their cost, but it's a whole lot cheaper than it is going out in the private market for it. So, you know, I think overall it's good for the city, and it will be beneficial for the employees down the road.
Get a motion?
I made the motion.
Second.
I second.
All those in favor? Aye. Nays?
And I just want to make a comment for Glenn and Janet. They put a lot of work into this, and it's been a lot of countless hours, I promise you. But as far as the employees of this town, that means a lot to them, that they're connected to this program, and I feel good about it.
I'm gonna make one more comment. For the longevity employees, I don't know how many you got, but I'm just thankful they can carry something with them after they leave here. They've got something to fall back on now.
And we do, and I mean, this, you know, I don't know, 10 years ago, we had a program in place for those folks that retired where the city paid their insurance, health insurance up until they got to 65. But then the new Gatsby law came in at that time and, you know, pretty much said, if you're gonna do this, you've got to put money aside for every employee, whether they've been here 1 year or 35 years, and we couldn't do that. So this opportunity leads for them to take the insurance with them. However, they got to pay for it, but at least they have it.
Right.
So it's a good thing.
Now, you're gonna look at the opportunities that we could have by our savings at the end of the year, if we can do a retiree program going forward. And what I mean by that, you can either have funded, partially funded, and obviously at this point, we have no funding. But
You know,
I
again,
think it'd be something we'd really need to
I think that's
positively look
something we
at.
need to look at and see if it's something that we can afford.
Not obligate a budget each year, but a good experience funding. I don't know how you do that. But I don't want to obligate to $250,000 a year, and then all of a sudden, everybody gets on, their family on, and we're losing money. Okay, thank you.
You can do ordinance
Yeah, let's.
2001, 2002, and 2003 if you like, together. They're the same property owners for annexation on Highway 301 South and Palmetto Street.
I make a motion. I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. Go ahead, Glenn. I'm glad you took the biblical names out of my vocabulary there.
Annexation 20-04 is the annexation of the Christopher Miller property at 923 Highway 301. This is the old South Carolina Electric and Gas building, am I correct, Jim?
Yes, sir.
I need a motion.
Yes.
I make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Nay.
Ordinance 20-05, this is what I'm very excited about. And it's Quick Trip Corporation property, 1700 block of Highway 34 West. That is on Highway 34, close to the interstate. Several years ago, we got property owners to agree to let us annex frontage of their property, and this is beginning to pay off. Hopefully there'll be more to do that.
Can I get a motion?
Make a motion, we annex that property into the city limits of Dillon.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. Nay? You know, as we get, well, where's our closest fire station out there?
Here off of West Main Street.
Yeah, pretty quick to get out there,
Ordinance 20-06 to adopt the 2018 edition of the International Building Code, Residential Plumbing, Mechanical, Fire, Fuel, and Fuel Gas Codes.
yeah. Okay, can you explain that a little bit?
Well, it doesn't make sense why it's 2018 and we're in 2020, but that's the way it always works.
Okay.
But Benny can explain it more to you.
So we're going from 16 to 18?
15.
15 to 18. It's not a yearly thing.
Yeah.
In short, these are mandatory building codes that's required for every municipality in the state of South Carolina to follow. They are adopted by the South Carolina Building Codes Council from the South Carolina Labor and Licensing Regulations. They don't give us much choice but to adopt these codes.
Or I make a motion that we adopt the 2018
I get a
International
second?
Building Code.
Yes.
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Aye. Nay?
Sounded good to me.
The last thing I have on the agenda, and Mr. Don Strickland's here, and Don, I apologize, it took longer than what I anticipated. Don was before council with PDRTA back in November, I believe it was. So Don's back to talk to council more about PDRTA and their request. And if you have any questions of him, he's here to answer those questions.
Who's meeting the obligation so far?
We actually have a few new stakeholders. Thank you all for having me back tonight. And I'll try to keep it short and sweet. We've got our first couple checks, and everything's progressing right along. There's been a lot of finally some real requests sent out, actually requesting the funds. So far we had a lot of meetings, a lot of good conversations. Those are starting to come in now. We've got some banks involved. McLeod is certainly on board. Care South, it will be on board. The Care First Foundation. Got a check from the long-term recovery group. One of the things that we're looking to do is be able to go ahead and identify 8 buses that we can bring to Dillon County to be able to help out in emergency situations. If you have like the senior living needs to go to a shelter for those low-lying areas, we'd be able to go and pick up a group of seniors, take them to a shelter, basically get them into a safe spot. But Harbor Freight, they're pushing forward. Right now, we're roughly at around $150,000.
Didn't you need like 3?
We needed about 200 on the local level to do the full-blown service. The 150 actually provides $450,000 in service. So where we're at right now, we can actually draw down the federal and state funds to be able to match that. So we're headed in the right direction. The goal is to start in April. I think that's realistic. We have 2 drivers pretty much on board now. We have 2 job fairs coming up. We're trying to find a couple more operators from this area to be able to kind of fulfill those roles. I have 4 buses dedicated to the service, 2 32 passenger buses and 2 14s right now. The plan with Commerce and DOT is still on the table to be able to help us fund up to $1 million in assets. So it's just, trying to get all the stakeholders in place, commitments in place, and being able to start in April. We do have some, the Dillon County, their funds will start in July. If the city
What
were
they
to,
obligate to?
it's $36,000 a year for 3 years.
Really?
Yes, sir. So that actually starts in July.
They hadn't made a payment yet, is what you're saying?
No, sir, they're not, but the other local funders that we have will be enough to bridge the gap from April until July. So we're able to get that service rolling, start paying those drivers, start putting the fuel in the bus, pay for the insurance and everything.
How was it determined to come up with the $12,000 for the city to pay? Or you want us to?
We have similar things in other areas. For instance,
I'm saying $12,000 a year, correct?
Yes, sir. It was 10 for operational and 2 for capital, which would be bus stops, bus shelters. The city of Hartsville, the city of Bennettsville gave us 10. The county gave us 30, actually gave us 40 for the first year in the Marty service in Marlboro County. So it's gonna be a similar amount of service based on hours and miles. That's kind of how we arrived at that, just trying to make sure we have enough. And really the big thing is having enough stakeholders at the table to be able to make it happen. If we only, right now we probably have 14 or 15 stakeholders. If we only had 10, we would need additional funding. But we're trying to kind of spread that so that we can sustain it over the years.
But you said you're about $150,000 short from what you.
No, sir.
Or
No,
you wanted
we're at
200,000.
150 now.
Okay, you wanted 200,000.
We needed about 200.
Are you waiting on any other like McLeod's? I know you said you got McLeod.
Waiting on quite a few.
Quite a few.
So there's several out there. There's more $5,000 and $10,000 asks that are out there.
A year or total over the 3 years?
It's a year for 3-year commitments is what it is, yes, sir. So, the service itself, whenever it's full blown, will be roughly $600,000 a year in expenses. But by bringing all the stakeholders together, we're able to kind of bridge the gap and make that work. Again, for those who don't remember, we're looking to bring in Marion County, Marlboro County, and Florence County to Dillon. And then we're going to have service Little Rock, Latta, Hamer, yes sir, Riverdale, all these areas, bringing them in to Dillon. It may be different days, like you might not be able to go to Little Rock every day, but they may have service on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. They schedule their appointments and things based on that.
What kind of moves would the Regional Transport Authority be doing in the city limits of Dillon? Explain that to me.
So we're looking to have
any industry in the city.
Fixed route service within the city. We would basically, along with all the commuter service coming in, we would have routes that run downtown, Walmart, all the local banks, the Care South, Northeastern Tech is a player. Dr. Widener and I met last week. They want to be a player in this as well. So it will be basically our service. We may be able to do 30-minute service throughout the city of Dillon. And everything else that come in will be a feeder route. So I'm talking to the Greyhound, Southeastern Stations folks, and maybe other partners, but we're looking to try to find like an intermodal place to where if the city bus that runs around Dillon can meet the other buses that are coming in from other areas, everybody will be able to transfer to go to different places. We would have people from Dillon that can go to other places on Southeastern Stages and Greyhound as well, if all that comes to.
No fee to the citizens. They ride for free?
Yeah, the plan, the last 3 services we started is fare free. And I think I shared the reason for that is because fare box revenue can't be used to leverage federal funds. And if I can get $2,000, it's worth $10,000 in a fare box. And then I gotta have somebody to come repair fare boxes, take the change to the bank, and all that's added expense. So you end up basically spending almost as much as you take in federal revenue.
Now, if the city committed this money, what will be the time sequence? In it 30 minutes, 20 minutes?
It really depends. It depends on how far, on the outside limits of the city we want to get to and how many places we want to target. So, typically we look at our headways to start out, and then what we find soon as we get into it is they start wanting 30-minute headways. So that if you go to a grocery store and you buy some vanilla ice cream, you have a chance to possibly get home before the ice cream melts. So it turns out, you think about it, if you're dependent on transit, you want ice cream, you don't want to have to eat the whole gallon on the way home.
Where would the stops be located in the city? Where would the stops be located?
All throughout. So that's basically, the day one, we're looking at starting the service, but we're taking on-off counts. Every stakeholder that's involved as far as businesses, they'll be able to get information to know who's riding the bus, how often they're getting dropped off at their businesses. But we're looking, there's certain areas we know, Walmart, hospital, the banks are always big, your restaurants, it sounds like hopefully we're gonna get some more restaurants in Dillon. But all those are very important stops, and that's where people will go. You're gonna have people coming from the outside communities to come here to spend money downtown, and that's the idea behind it. It is an economic, boost for the city.
Well, we're gonna go ahead.
I would think that it's a good thing to do, and we need to look at it, but also think that as part of the budget process,
Right.
to determine those things
So a vote tonight doesn't obligate
No,
us
they're
to
not here for a vote.
move
Not here.
forward on,
But I think the last time we was here, maybe one or
Right.
two of you were missing, and the next time when somebody here, so I think it's just something we deal with in.
I think it's a quality of life thing for people. It's, you know, if you don't have a car or you're elderly and you can't drive anymore, then, you know, it's an opportunity. for
You
them
said
to
the
go
county was committed to paying your first payment?
36,000.
I know, was the first payment in July?
And we can, if we decide to do this, we can pay, as Don and I talked about, we can pay them $1,000 a month or give them 12,000, however we want to do it, am I correct?
Yes, sir. The one thing I failed to mention, I probably should because it's important, is anytime we bring public transportation to a city with the bus stops and shelters and everything, the one thing that we're required by the federal government is to provide something called demand response for ADA eligible folks. So for those that have a wheelchair or a walker, they call today, we schedule a ride for tomorrow. We have to go to their home, we pick them up, we'll take them to their appointment. So we're.
It's 3 days now.
Sorry?
That's 3 days now.
Yeah, the private logistic care, it's 3 days, and then you have a lot of folks that are on the bus, you have seniors that are on there for 3 or 4 hours after their appointment's over. And that's what we try to prevent, to be honest.
Yeah.
We have a lot of dialysis clients using the service in different areas. I know that's be the same issue here, so we're gonna go outside. I mean, it is certainly a city of Dillon thing, but the reason the number looks so big for us is because there's a lot more that's gonna go into it. We're gonna be bringing folks from Ladder to Dillon to do those things, and so it's hard to see it right now, but I can guarantee once it gets started, it's gonna speak for itself pretty soon.
Thank you. So, I mean, it's new business. We don't need a vote to move forward. We're just gonna look at that and see if we can
That would
put
be
that in.
something I would think you'd have to do in the budget process.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Council members report. Mr. Eller?
Yeah, Glenn, I'm gonna go back to the last meeting we had. I asked you about the police department and the laptops. Did you get the answer from?
No, not as of yet.
Okay.
With 911?
Yep.
No.
All right. I noticed on Facebook before the meeting tonight, we're gonna have the police forum.
That is March 10th, Chief? Yes.
Okay. Are we gonna have one of our municipal judges come too?
We'll invite them.
Would you ask for one of them to come, invite them? Getting ready to have a crucial vote for the golf course on the lease again. Can you bring us the numbers back next month?
I'm hoping that next month we will talk about that in executive session,
Okay.
on whether or not we want to renew or not, because we need to go ahead and make that decision here in the next month or two. But what numbers do you want? I'm sorry.
Well, I want you to go back from the time we initiated getting the golf course all the way down.
2013.
Right, and also I'd like for you to bring the numbers back for the advertising that we've had to spend to advertise for the golf course. Okay? Did we ever hire the laborer for the stormwater drainage?
Yes.
All right. We're getting a new, not, what's it called again? Not Love's, but what's the new station coming?
QT.
QT.
Yeah.
So I ask you now, the lights going down Highway
I met
34.
with Duke Energy, and they're waiting to see how much growth goes, because they can't put, I turned in 11 or 12 poles to them to look at back in December or November, but they can't put a light on each one of those poles because it needs a feeder system,
Mhm.
whatever that may be. What's there won't, they would have to have wiring for each one of those lights coming from different poles. So they're waiting to see how much more growth is coming, so then they will determine how much more they're gonna build
Okay.
out there. But it is on their map.
What do we do about trying to get a light and a pole in a residential area?
Just let us know, and we'll look and see.
Okay.
If you got an address, you know, we'll look at it and see. What we try to do, have done in the past, within 150 feet of each other, give or take.
No. The condemned building that's behind the American Finance, where are we at with that? I'm getting it tore down. It was condemned at one time.
Where's American Finance?
Right here on the corner, the low place.
Main and Calhoun?
Yep.
That white building?
Yep.
It is condemned. The only way it's gonna come down is if the city spends the money to do it. I mean, we can't, we don't have an avenue to actually make property owners tear it down, other than we tear it down. But again, are we gonna get paid for it? Don't know if we will. In the short term, maybe in the long run, if the property's there for sale, but don't know if you're gonna sell the property for, and I'm just taking a guess, $40,000.
Did we ever look at what the cost would be to tear it down?
No, haven't, but I would, or have you? Did you get a cost estimate on that? One here on Main, yes, Madison. Did you ever get a cost estimate for that? But I was just basing what we spent, roughly 40 on the one on Hampton Street. So it'd probably be somewhere in that same ballpark, give or take.
But we're just trying to clean up town.
Well, we are, and I have no problem doing it. If council wants us to go ahead and tear these down and worry about getting paid, reimbursed down the road, I mean, I have no problem whatsoever. But I also think if we get too far ahead of our game, you know, we just mentioned earlier, $92,000 on tax liens that we hadn't been paid. You know, that's what this would be, in addition to that.
Okay. Jen?
I've gotten some positive feedbacks on the signage. And Bert, I really appreciate the signs that have gone back up. I've gotten a good many calls, and of course in my district. And the other thing I'd like to talk about, since we're having so much emphasis on Martin Luther King Boulevard, I know I've talked about this on eminent domain for Harry Round's property. And I think that we strongly need to look at that property and figure out something we can do. If we're gonna have emphasis on Martin Luther King Boulevard, that is gonna be an eyesore to us from now to eternity, either on First Avenue or on it, whichever way you run. So if we can make some headway on that, I'd really appreciate it. Plus, behind Roses, I had a couple of older people to call me. And they told me when they're going to Tokyo in that strip mall on the back side, there's no lighting.
That's private property. We wouldn't put any light there.
No, I'm talking about on the side of the road on Martin Luther King
Okay,
Boulevard.
on their side?
There is no lighting at all. It's so black there you can't even see. People have literally almost turned into the ditches.
We'll get with Duke and see if they can put something there.
Yeah, if they could just help us out with a new LED right there, I think it'd really solve a big
We
problem.
have light
Just on the side of the road.
up to Carmichael Boulevard going
Right.
out of town. I don't know that there's anything on either side after passing Carmichael, but we'll look at it.
That's all I have done.
But
He done took care of my little problem down at East Car. Not East Car, but
Harry Round.
Round. And we get something done about that. As far as over here on the Main Street, man, how they doing about that? Of this? They paying the bills? Tearing the buildings down or what? They queue them up there. They got to get don't pay the fines.
Yes, sir. We had written at least 10 municipal ordinances. At least 5 of them had pled guilty, paid the fines. We have 2 that's in compliance. 1 building sold, and we have 2 pending repairs.
What about
you got ones asked for a jury trial?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And where they?
That would be a court. I don't know if Jack's got any information on that, the jury trial.
I haven't heard it. It's good.
It's all right.
I don't have anything.
On East Street, Bert, we got a complaint about, well, which I went around and looked at it too. Well, you own there with Maple School. It's a ditch on the left and the right hand side. So we get that ditch on the, if I'm going back towards Maple, or going back, coming back around from the jailhouse side to the right side, the water is standing real bad.
Talking about on the side where the field is on that
Yeah,
side?
and it's real bad up in that area. It needs to be cleaned out. And the lady at South 9th it's 506 South 9th Avenue. She said that we went around there, it was a hole in somebody, I don't know, somebody ran in the yard or something, but they came around there and they was gonna repair the hole. And I went around there and looked at it. They did repair the hole, but she said they didn't never come back and put the dirt back in the hole, so.
Because when we did it, it started raining.
Oh, okay.
I drive out.
I know what you're talking about. You talking about on a little dirt road right there?
No, this is
Jerry.
this is a 506
Should be-
South 9th Avenue, and it's gonna have a light pole that's gonna have the cable directly twined around it, and it's gonna be a little spot. The grass done grew back up in it now, but you know how people is, you ain't never come back, they put a pile of dirt out there, they ain't never come back and put dirt in the hole.
We'll look at it tomorrow.
And there's some lighting out at Manning Baptist. I went by to get the numbers off of them. The main ones, it's real dark up in that area.
Behind Manning Baptist?
Well, no, on the same, it's on.
Yeah, I know what that's at.
All those lights is out up in there, spotlights up in there. It's real dark up in that area. So that, and then there's another pole, make a left on Dorgan. It'd be one up in there where they just tore a house down. That pole, the light be out on it too, so I'm not sure on that.
Was that something to do with last week?
Yes, sir.
That's good, man.
All right.
I got a question real fast, dog. How do we write fines to people to fix up their building when the man took $15,000 from the city and didn't have to pay it back? How do we go about that? How do we ask a business owner to fix up their building?
I understand, we don't have to. We don't
I
have
mean,
to.
there's-
I don't know what you want me to say.
I mean, there's no legitimate way you can ask a man to fix his building up when this man never paid us our $15,000 back.
That's left to the court to decide, I guess. I don't know what you want me to answer, or how you want me to answer it.
I mean, I'm just asking the question.
Well, if they don't meet standards by our code, we ask them to do stuff. If they don't do it, then we write them a fine.